Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Hut's Gaming Assetto Corsa Competizione GT3 League season... That shouldn't say season 1. Hang on. Something's gone wrong here. I could swear I changed the... Already we've got some technical difficulties going on. That's just wonderful, isn't it? Did I delete the thing by mistake? I might have done. So we've got the wrong thing up there. Give me just a second whilst I figure out how to bring it back. Where is it? That is so irritating. Where did it go? Did I put it here? Is that... Ah, never mind. It's just on the wrong part. There we go. So... Welcome to Season 2 of the GT3 League. Apologies for the slight delay in the start. Qualifying has just begun, but we're going to tell you a bit about the season first. We should have a full 20, I think that's 20 drivers, 20 driver grid for this season, with a fair amount of different cars being used, such as Ferrari 488s, maybe the 296s, 992 RSRs, and a few other things amongst others. For round 1 this evening, we're at the Nürburgring in Germany. Next week we're going to Misano. Round 3 will be at the Mount Panorama circuit at Bathurst in Australia. Round 4 Barcelona. Round 5 Kyalami. Round 6 Zandvoort. Round 7 Suzuka, Round 8 Laguna Seca, Round 9 Brands Hatch, Round 10 Spa-Francorchamps, Round 11 Monza, and Round 12 will play host to the finale on the 4th of August. For now, though, we have our cars going around the track here, and we have some new liveries. Let me just bring up... Got to close some things. Come on. And figure out... Hello? Come on. Where's the... There we go. Game unmuted. Now I've got to figure out how I close this. Aha. There we go. I'm crap. It's like the Mighty Jingles. Except worse. So there is F.krebs in a very striking livery for the Porsche 992. They had, on the Discord, they had all these different, what they're called, sort of reveal trailers for the car livery. So it was quite striking. Looks like we've only got 14 drivers today. Slightly irritating. Where is he? This guy. Number 69. I don't... there we go. He's coming through this section here. The number 2, BWT Pink Mercedes AMG, driven by Leroy Fusion. 69 Porsche, being driven by C.dorn. Vic Big 6 Vinegar. I think, is this Big 6? I don't remember. Driving the number 3 BWT Mercedes. And Big Jabber driving a sort of F1-esque black AMG Mercedes, the number 20. And his teammate is driving a silver AMG. Jesse Metternich driving a cursed Lamborghini. The Lamborghini that thought it was a Mazda 787B. I like the livery, but it does not belong on that car. Jordan Lake, driving last season, well, the car he drove in the last season 1 finale, the 296 GT3. Alexei, there we go, Alexei Shlovek, that's Jabber's teammate, driving the number 40 silver AMG GTR. Oh, that's a strange name. Let's see. Can't see what his name is. Pagnamenta driving a rather funky looking M4 GT3. Khalid Malcolm driving a red and silver, not silver, that's yellow Get your colours straight still. Driving a red and yellow-ish 296 GT3. Jesse Angel. Ooh, that's a very nice livery. Driving the 963 style livery on this Porsche 992. Sand green. Looks like the teammate for Khalid Malcolm. Driving a very similar looking 296, and Khalid Malcolm comes out of the pits. And Brian Wilson driving a bright yellow Ferrari 296. Just making sure of a few extra things. Performance mode is on. So currently, F.krebs leads the way with a 156.1. Just noticed we don't have Isti here tonight. So Krebs, who dominated the last race. Ooh, yellow flag for the car number 7, who's immediately gone back to the pit lane, so maybe ran out of fuel. Pagnamenta, currently second, but 7/10 behind. Laurel Fusion, 1.1 seconds behind. So where is Christian Dawn? 3 seconds behind. Both of these guys in the Garage team, as it's called now. It was Cyber Garage last time. It's they were driving M4s. Now they're driving the Porsche 992, which apparently seems to be a much better car compared to the 991 Porsche, where that came with the game as standard. Number 27, oh, Pagnamenta going onto the grass there, and is immediately going to jump back to the pits. And was his lap more or less ruined as we watch Laurel Fusion about to cross the line. And maybe on a flying lap here. So let's go into the proper... Oh, that's not what I want to see. There we go. Chase cam, not the proper camera. So he has just started a flying lap through the initial section here. I don't know what it's called. Honestly does it, but slightly down on his previous. Has lost a 10th through that sector, or section. I don't see... Oh, okay, I do see there's a sector split coming up. I mean, just towards... Where is he now? Okay, he's going through... He's looking at the wrong car. The number 71, I believe, is his teammate. Yellow flag briefly as he's still about a 10th down. Oh, didn't get the hairpin quite right. And we're heading towards the Schumacher S now, the one corner of the track that I know the name of, and he's got it all wrong, I think. Not quite, actually. He was able to keep it on the track. Some text messages. Oh, going wide, and he's invalidated the lap. Who shall we look at next? That's not the one I want to look at. Jordan Lake, well, qualifying's over, so a few drivers might not get round in time to finish their laps here. Malcolm heading towards, or down this sort of main straight. The number 2 has just finished, that's Laurel Fusion. Through the S, not the full chicane, as it would be in Formula 1, or other single-seater racing series. Could Jordan Lake get a time on the board here as he crosses the line? Ooh, 3rd place. Brian Wilson next. Can he improve his lap time? He does, but it's not enough to move him up the order. Metternich next in the cursed Lambo Mazda. La Mazda. Mazdagini? Oh god, this is... Why would you do this to me? minute and 50 seconds of the session remain. What can Metternich do? Currently 9th and 2.1 seconds down. Through the final corner. Is he improving? Can't really tell with the broadcast camera. Across the line, and he does improve to P6. Next, Eric's Biscuit. I believe this Adrian Sandgreen does improve, but not by much. As Kelly Malcolm comes into the pits. C.dorn then will be the last driver to get time on the board here. Can he improve? Currently just slightly less than 2 seconds down on his teammate. And he does improve to P5. Nicely done. So looking closer to his teammate already than he was last season. Right. I'm going to finish off the crisps I was munching on. I know that's not exactly professional, but sue me. Dawn stuck on track somehow. There we go. I've lost a crisp. No! Where the hell did that go? Just love it, don't you? There it is. That's why I missed it. It's tiny. Right. So, F.krebs. Whoa, that's the suspension. Oh dear. Right, so 15 drivers. Baron von Bunker, also known as Pookie, has joined in using the Iron Lynx. I think that is the Iron Lynx Huracan. Very attractive looking car. It looks great in IMSA. And the race will be getting underway momentarily. Wet the whistle before the race gets underway. Formation start here. Oh, and there's another 963 looking Porsche back there. God, I love it. I love it. Oh, the stream is lagging a bit. I've just noticed. And dropping frames. Fortunately, it's an issue I should be able to sort out without drawing focus away from the game as we get green lights and the race gets underway. F.krebs leading away from Slovak, but the Mercedes looking like he's got the straight line speed on the Porsche here. Of course, this is the sprint race, as we need to remember. We have 2 races tonight, the 20-minute sprint and the 40-minute feature. Krebs able to hold on to the lead. Pagdamenta now up into 3rd, meaning he's displaced Jordan Lake. C.dorn still in 5th, but under threat from Vinegar and Sherlock in the 71 963-esque Porsche. God, that looks so good. 2 pink Mercedes AMGs sandwiching Sherlock's Porsche. Oh, that was thought of it. Fusion was going to go into the back of Sherlock there. I would be very upset if he did do that. I'm going to take this opportunity. Yes, I am dropping frames. I don't know why. It's nothing to do with my encoder. Nothing has changed. Let me try closing some stuff. Otherwise, I'm a little bit stuck because I don't know what's going on. Okay, is it helping? Maybe. So let's head to draw my attention away from the race briefly. There's something on the roof of the Grass Porsche. Some words of something. I think I saw them. What does that say? Faster than Schnell. Oh, contact between Dorn and Vinegar. Bit of argy-bargy. Some British touring car championship style driving there from Vinegar. But Christian Dorn has the fastest lap. Was sort of squeezing himself between Vinegar and more contact. Vic. Big Vic, that's who it is. Vic. You need to stop driving like you're in the touring cars. Oh, and he makes more contact with Christian Dorn there, who's now being pushed down almost 4 positions, and now under threat from Jabber. Now Jabber has to settle for what is currently, I think that's P9. Wait, it's not. Let's press that button. He is P9. Okay, under threat from Metternich in the Huracan. Fusion now under threat from Sherlock. Can the Porsche make the dive bomb into the hairpin? No, he's not going to risk it on this occasion. And I don't know which car is the better of the two. Which one is more nimble? Which one is faster in a straight line? I would imagine the Porsche would be a bit more nimble, and especially if Fusion keeps taking the gravel like that. Has slowed him down a little bit. Does Sherlock have the better line? Maybe. Hard to tell. Definitely seems a bit better through that corner. Closer to the apex. But I think the Mercedes might just about have the power on the Porsche. So definitely it seems like the 992 is a bit more nimble, though he's going wide here. Don't think that's going to help him out in the long run. Meanwhile, F.krebs has built a sizable lead. 3.4 seconds to Alexei Shlovik behind, who is doing pretty well. He was in the Aston Martin last season, which apparently is not a nice car to drive. But now potentially under threat from Nicolo Pagnamenta in the Row Racing M4 behind. Half a second separate these two. Position 2 and position 3, Pagnamenta getting very close through turn. I don't know the corner numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was sort of turn 5-ish. Getting much closer. Is he going to make the dive bomb? Shlovik cuts him off. Nicely done from the Mercedes driver, but he goes wide slightly at the hairpin, but has the power to defend from the BMW. Very nicely done, as there's a white flag waving in the background. It looks like we have some French fans here tonight. Oh, Pagnamenta going wide at that corner, the number of which I do not remember. I should have looked at a track map beforehand. Yes, it definitely does seem like the AMG GTR is a bit quicker down the straights, but the BMW M4 better through the corners. Sherlock did dispatch Fusion at some point, and now Fusion once again under threat from Christian Dorn. So the question is, oh yes, Christian Dorn definitely going much faster than Fusion. Had his previous lap 2 seconds, give or take, faster than level Fusion. Definitely seems to be gaining it through the brake zones quite a bit, but had to lift off a little bit there, as as he would have gone into the back of the Mercedes if he had not been careful. Vansky Angel in the LMDH 963 style Porsche. If only we did have the 963s here. It would be nice to have some WEC cars rather than just normal GT3. Jabber might soon have Brian Wilson for company. Jabber, who was doing quite well, but now he's falling down the wayside. Falling by the wayside. Brian Wilson in the yellow Privateer 296 was getting closer, but now he's sort of fallen off a little bit. Yes, that is the Iron Lynx. Huracan, the green one, who was using the yellow one last time. Number 19, rather than number 63, which is being used by the car in IMSA. Khalid Malcolm has fallen down to last place. Slovak, oh, is that? I thought that was contact, but I don't think it was in the end. Pagnamenta caught Slovak by quite a margin there. Wasn't able to make the move though, as the chicane that would normally be there has a much heavier braking zone, but this is the lighter braking zone, more of an S, and going for it now. He has the inside for turn 1. Can he make it stick? Not quite. Holding on to it though. This BMW, maybe I've underestimated it somewhat. It was a pretty fast car last season. But I guess whoever's driving it has a large factor to the effectiveness of some of these cars. Sherlock did dispatch Fusion, but he's been somewhat dispatched by Vic, who is about 2 seconds ahead of him. Pagnamenta, meanwhile, holding on to Alexei Slovak. Slovak is not someone I would have imagined fighting for P2 here. As Nicolo Pagnamenta, someone I've not really heard of. I think he's brand new. Oh, and oh god, there's contact there, without a doubt. Slovak got the Schumacher S slightly wrong, but then that was compounded by what looked like Pagnamenta touching the rear end. Unfortunately, it wasn't riding on board there. So now that fight sees Slovak in P4 for the sprint, as we're about halfway through this sprint race now. It's going to be very annoying for Alexei there. So now we have Sherlock right on the tail end of the Mercedes, who doesn't look like he's doing fit. Getting all my words a bit mixed up. Doesn't look like he's doing as well through some of the corners, but seems to be pulling away a bit from Sherlock, who's possibly outbraking himself, and has outbraked himself. Now directly under threat from level fusion, but the inside for turn 2 is helping him out for now. And it's difficult to tell where this will go. I think Alexei is gradually getting his mojo back and is starting to pull away from Sherlock. 0.5 of a second, 0.6. Ooh, maybe not. Maybe Alexei Slovak does not have his mojo back, and maybe his mojo has been severely damaged. Still, these cars half a second away from each other. Fusion getting a bit closer to Sherlock than Sherlock is to Slovak. Oh, but getting a bit happy on the curbs there. Don't want to be taking too much curb if you can help it. Oh, and he's getting it all wrong again. He's going wide. at turn 227. I really need to memorize the corner numbers. And actually, Fusion has fallen a bit further behind Sherlock there. Though Sherlock has caught Slovik a little bit. C.dorn also closing on to the tail end of this battle as the number 111, that is Khalid Malcolm, has had an off at turn something. Finds himself dead last. Oh, Fusion! Oh, I was going to try and go around the outside for turn 1, but that's not really the best position to put your car in if you're trying to overtake. And now under threat from C.dorn, the second Grass. Oh, had a bit of big snap there. I wonder what happened. Maybe he got a bit of snap of oversteer on the curb, potentially. Jabba did get overtaken by Brian Wilson at some point. Didn't see when it happened. Maybe it was a mistake made by Jabba. But the Mercedes now behind the privateer. SPS Automotive, that's what the team name is. Meanwhile, Jovanovski Angel possibly closing on Jordan Lake here. Jordan, I'm pretty sure he had a good starting position, but now he's down in 8th place. I'm not sure what happened here, but now finds himself in the lower echelons as Fusion going round the outside of Sherlock. Sherlock might lose 2 positions here. Being overtaken by Fusion and closing the door on C.dorn. It's getting a bit of a slide on the exit of the S. We've got a cone or something that's fallen into the road. Sherlock going a bit closer to the apex than the Mercedes in front were. Yeah, Sherlock, a 1 second slower lap than both of the cars ahead, and Dawn behind, I think, was slightly faster as well. So the question is Slovik under threat from Fusion now? Could this turn into a Get Speed 3-4? Get Speed BWT, I'm gonna call them. Or rather just the BWT, that's easier because it's recognizable. So the pink Mercedes on the tail of the silver Mercedes. Silver Arrow. That sounds familiar. 2020, everyone? Copycats. Or is Slovik's car the silver Racing Point? Oh, Sherlock going way off into the gravel. Got that all kinds of wrong and has been now passed by C.dorn and Jordan Lake. Is Jordan Lake about to overtake Dawn as well? Looked like he might have been able to. Or rather about to. Oh, I can't tell which car is faster in a straight line. It looks like Sherlock might have the better car in a straight line compared to Jordan Lake here, though it does look like Lake might have some damage on the front of his car. You can see some spots of stuff. Can't tell if that's impeding him by a huge amount, though. It looks more like paint chips, as that's C.dorn now trying to make his way past Fusion, as Slovik under threat from Fusion too. This is turning into one hell of a battle for P4. Oh, contact! And now Fusion spins off. I didn't catch what exactly happened there. Almost turned into Goofy.
Goofy.
So now C.dorn, the closest driver who might be able to overtake Slovak. But that's a disaster for Fusion, who is now P10. Absolute disaster. I thought C.dorn was about to slide around there, as Jordan Lake might be about to be passed by Sherlock. Nope, covers off the inside at the hairpin. Sherlock's going to have to wait for a little bit longer. Sherlock making mistakes, but able to get the pace back rather quickly. Oh, is he going to go off again? No. I'm really thirsty. Oh, Sherlock trying to do some Kansai drift though. And now might be under threat from his teammate Angel. That's not something I would have expected to happen. The two Porsche 963s potentially about to swap positions. Oh, Khalid Malcolm has disconnected from the session.
Try and rejoin if you can, Khalid.
Meanwhile, we're still having some drop frames, though it's not as bad. Oh, wait! Number 69, C.dorn, has had a spin at some point. About turn 4, 5 area. And now he finds himself P10, being passed by Level Fusion. So this fight for P4 has gone every which way that you wouldn't have even expected. Slovak doesn't have the pace to keep up with Vic Vinegar, so maybe he would have been passed at some point. Regardless. But now Sherlock, Angel finds himself in P7. Jordan Lake, just behind Sherlock. It just isn't how I expected this little sprint to go. There's not a lot of time left in this race. I've been quite engrossed in this. This is going to be the final lap, as F.krebs is about to pass over the finish line. Leader is on the final lap. So this is the final lap for everyone. The number 7. Oh no! Angel has... What's gone on there? He's had a spin, maybe. I thought maybe there had been some kind of... what's it called? Mechanical failure, if you can even have those in this game. But now, I think he's outside of the points. That is really unfortunate. Now the two remaining 296s right at the back of the field. Jordan Lake now desperate to pass Sherlock's Porsche. The one obstacle, the one hurdle that remains between himself and P4. And what I would imagine would be 12 points, but this is GT scores, not Formula 1 scoring. Meanwhile, Metternich under threat from Fusion. But there's not a lot of time for Fusion to potentially get past the Lambo Mazda. The number 19, Baron von Bunker, the one named Pookie. That's Malcolm. He's managed to make his way back into the race by the looks of things, but he's a lap down now. So he's not actually threatening anyone. And Sherlock has opened the gap to Jordan Lake and should be able to take a reasonably comfortable P5. The same with Slovak. He was in P2 at one point. He's now going to have to settle for P4.
The leader has finished the race.
Krebs takes victory in the sprint. Pagnamenta, 13 seconds behind, give or take. Yikes. He will take P2. Vic Vinegar will take P3 in the pink Mercedes. P4 will go to Alexei Shlovik. P5 to Sherlock. P6 to Jordan Lake. P7 to Jesse Metternich. P8 to Lero Fusion. P9 to Christian Dawn, and it's going to be a rather distant P10. Oh, Pookie has lost it! P10 on the line! He spun before the pit lane, which means Angel is going to take P10. And Pookie's going to be absolutely kicking himself. Yeah, you can see that. He throws his car into the wall. It's got to be furious. Jabber P12. Oh. What's going on now? Oh, that's just... okay. Come on, so yeah. What? Pookie ended up 13th in the end. Did he get a penalty? Is that even possible? No, he was 11th. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. So we go into another set of qualifying. Another 8-minute qualifying session for the 40 minutes feature race. Just gotta wait for the qualifying to begin. Let me just check if the stream... Yep. Just checking that the stream is actually working online. Just gotta wait for... what's it called? Qualifying 2. In the meantime, I'm gonna see if I can munch something else. There we go. It finally realised that the session was over about 2 minutes after it was actually over. Right. Come on. Can we get into qualifying 2 now? There we go.
Green light, give it all you can.
About time. And Fabian Krebs out immediately to take what is going to be his second pole position of the night, more than likely. Followed out by his teammate, Christian Dawn. Everyone's coming out. Mostly everyone, anyway. So we'll just watch as Mr. Krebs takes pole position number 2. I'm a cynical old fart, aren't I?
Looks like he's using traction control setting 3, ABS setting 2, engine mapping setting 8. Yes, indeed. The settings are changing with each car.
So you can see which settings people are using.
Curiously, the Huracan has less traction control settings. Because it's a four-wheel drive car, whilst all the others are two-wheel drive.
So Krebs will set the benchmark. Didn't get a very good exit, but
From the final corner.
I just noticed a little Pac-Man on the back end of the car there. So he started lap 2, thingamajig of, the first of his flying laps here. Oh, pardon me, that's what happens when you drink way too quickly. 4/10 up, but then again that's kind of understandable because this is his first lap. Heading into turn... I never know what they're called. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 or so corners. Which means that
The hairpin
that he's entering right now is turn 7. Still 4/10 up, obviously. Here, the number 24 of Jordan Lake, the 296 with that V6 engine. Turn 10 now. Long sweeping left-hander. And then a short straight into the right-hander, which then leads you onto this back straight-ish. It's got a kink. Turn 12. Before heading into turns 13 and 14, the S, the chicane sort of thing. Nicely does it, half a second up. Through the final corner. And across the line any moment now, as we're halfway through the qualifying session. 1:55.922. Christian C.dorn. Ooh, 1.5 seconds behind. Jordan Lake will be next. Plants it just under a second behind. Lero Fusion in the Mercedes will cross the finishing line next, followed by Angel Pagnamenta, and then Sherlock. Alexei Shlovik next across the line puts it 5th, 1.4 seconds down. Brian Wilson in the yellow privateer Ferrari, and he's got Jabber for company just behind him. Very close between these two. Oh, wow! Adrian Sandgreen puts it P2, 6/10 down. Pookie then goes P6. Vic Vinegar, I think, invalidated his previous time, as did Khalid Malcolm. Jesse Metinik in the Mazda Gini has not yet put his time on the board. He is the last of the drivers who will be getting a time on the board, potentially. P10, 2 seconds down. So Metinik just crossed the finishing line. Krebs is on the final stretch, basically. He's got more or less 2 laps of time left. He's already 6/10 up. He didn't get the chicane quite right. He's actually gaining time still, though. 7/10 up. He's about to smash his previous best. 1:55.9 meet 1:55.2. Jordan Lake crossed. Oh, not crossed. He passed Christian C.dorn, who seems to have gone off, run out of fuel potentially. So Jordan Lake is now in P2, but 1.2 seconds down. Level Fusion next. Didn't have a good exit, and he's invalidated anyway. He's got one more lap attempt. Pagdamenta next across the line. He's up by less than 3.5 tenths. Sherlock has to still stick with P5. Slovak up to P6. He was half a second up. C.dorn is going to get one last attempt. Brian Wilson up an entire second, but not enough to move him up the field. Jabber also not up. Adrian Sandgreen now down to P4. Angel has retired. Big Vinegar puts it P9. Brian Wilson out. Oh, Jabber out. Jesse Metternich in the Mazdagini Honda thingamajig. Why did I say Honda? Lambazda next across the line improves, but only by a few thousandths. Still enough for P11. And this is going to be a crucial final lap for... That's Fusion in the number 2. And Khalid Malcolm in the number 111. So Fusion, he's already invalidated. Fusion is going to start the feature race in 14th. Unless Khalid Malcolm can get a time on the board. Oh, Jordan Lake aborts at the last minute. F.krebs improved again. 155.0. More drivers have... what's the word? Cancelled their laps, aborted, whilst Pagdamenta up almost a second at one point, puts it P2, but still 5 tenths down. Sherlock is next across the line. Then Slovak. Sherlock can only manage P5. Slovak P7. C.dorn does not improve. Adrian Sandgreen is improving, but not by a huge amount. Might be enough to put him... Oh no, he lost time through the final corner. He matched his previous best. Vic Vinegar next across the line. Does not improve. And Khalid Malcolm also down. He will start... What? Ah, he had invalidated his previous lap times, I guess, so he didn't do a better lap than previous, but he at least got a valid lap, which means Level Fusion is going to start the feature race in last position. Was Metternich improves to P8 at the death. So, F.krebs was indeed P1 the moment he came out of the pit lane, basically. Is he going... He's got enough time to go for another session. Session? Lap. He's 4 tenths up already. He's into the 154s. This man is unstoppable. He's in a completely different league. Just give him the championship trophy now. That way I won't have to commentate the season.
I'm sure we'll have Isti at some point.
We better. It'd be so boring if there was no one else. Nice spin, Fusion. But we don't judge qualifying by how well you spin your car. We judge it in a fight to the death of your tyres. Yes, if your tyres are dead, that means you don't qualify very well. Unless, of course, you're Lewis Hamilton, in which case your tyres are dead means you're about to go for a fastest lap. And if your tyres are fine, then your tyres are actually fine. So, either way, your tyres are fine. So let's bring up the broadcasting menu thingamajig. And Krebs will lead them away again. Little Fusion dead last. Should cut his way through some of these lower echelons, as we know he's a pretty quick driver. Oh, that's interesting. And formation lap will begin any moment now. Here we go. Bit of ghosting behind. Agdamenta P2 once again. Are we looking for a carbon copy of the feature race? Oh, the number 55 is out already. Metternich has withdrawn. He will get a did not start. So his P8 is gone in qualifying, has gone down for nothing. Oh. Here we go. Red lights and green lights have come on. And we're here for the feature race, the final race of tonight. 40 minutes of what I hope will be pure, unadulterated action. There might be some contact behind. Just Brian Wilson has dive bombed the entire field. Massive crash. Adrian Sandgreen, Pokey. Who else is that? That's C.dorn, Angel, Brian Wilson. What was that? Meanwhile, Metternich did decide to join the race, and now he's last. Brian Wilson out of the race. What a shambles! Oh, whilst Krebs decides he doesn't like the traffic cones very much, and under threat from Pagnamenta. Though can the M4 keep pace? Wasn't able to last time. Sherlock, P3, courtesy of the lap, turn 1 chaos. Look, Khalid Malcolm in P4 took excellent advantage of the chaos. And now the two Get Speed BWT Mercedes in positions 5 and 6. Alexei Shlovik in P7 with his teammate Jabber in P8. Not far behind, but there's Pookie already trying to make his way past. Oh no, more contact! Pookie takes out Jabber on the run up to turn 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh dear. What is this race? Come on. Khalid Malcolm now under major pressure from behind. Vic Vinegar trying to go up the inside of turn 15, and this might actually work out as Malcolm goes wide, and that's opened the door for Vinegar to say thank you very much. Oh, but the Ferrari faster in the straight line. Vinegar looks like he didn't have a good exit, actually. He might get jumped by his teammate, potentially. No, maybe not. But Alexei Shlovik also on the tail end of Fusion. 3 AMG GTRs hounding a single Ferrari, and Vinegar makes a really opportunistic dive bomb. Not able to make it stick, though. And now under even more pressure from his teammate behind. Meanwhile, the number 24 Jordan Lake had to pit to repair his damage, as has, I think, is that the number 13? That might be Jordan, not Jordan, Brian Wilson still in the pits. Meanwhile, the gap between P1 and P2 is growing. Oh, Vinegar into the runoff. He took turn 7 way too wide. He might have to relinquish this position here to his teammate. Indeed, he has to. Cars 2 and 3. Oh, Shlovik going wide, opening the door for a Sandgreen to take the place, and C.dorn. So Shlovik loses 2 positions in the space of a single corner. Vic Vinegar, what now, on the inside of his team, he pushes him wide! Oh no! Come on! What is this racing? You've allowed Khalid Malcolm to pull away by quite a margin. 2.2 seconds. Oh, and now Sandgreen jumps over the curb. Is that? I think he's got the Greenland flag on his car there, but that's went over the apex of the corner rather than just past it and tried to go to space. Turned into the Space Shuttle Challenger. That's Jordan Lake. 14th, I think he's deciding... No, he's not cancelling his race. But he's a lap down, having to repair the damage. Brian Wilson did get back out, but he's almost a lap down too. I think he is a lap down. By a substantial amount. Sherlock might soon be under threat from Khalid Malcolm, who was pretty much nowhere in the previous sprint race, but now now that he's in P4, seems reinvigorated. We've got a pink sandwich here. Two pink Mercedes have a rather mixed filling. Another Mercedes. So could that be called a slice of bread? Whilst we've got the grass Porsche, ow, and the biscuit, Eric's biscuit, in his what's it called? Ferrari. If you're wondering why I said ow, it's because I got a blister on my little toe and I just punched it against my my power strip. Ooh, biscuit. Not going so well through turn 10. But I can't tell if it helped Fusion out there. The gap is 0.2 of a second. Fusion does seem to be getting closer. Someone else who's getting closer, the Iron Lynx of Baron von Bunker. Oh, that's Sandgreen going wide at the chicane and turn 15. That's opening the door for Lateral Fusion to get by. And although it's not opened the door for Pookie, he hasn't had the greatest of exits, and now the Huracan should be able to just sail by. It's going around the outside. It might not pay off for Pookie just yet. Oh, never mind. Adrian Sandgreen now behind. Biscuit has been dispatched. Currently P10. Ooh, although Pookie didn't appear to be going too well through turn 4. 3, 4. I had to keep looking at the mini-map and figuring out which corner is turn 2, which one is... Meanwhile, car number 20, it's Jabba under threat from Metternich, and I think he went wide, maybe had a little bit of a spin, but now the Lamborghini is up to P12. Sandgreen under threat from Angel. Fusion under threat from Pookie. Khalid Malcolm getting closer and closer to Sherlock. Whilst there's a bit of a traffic situation for Fabian Krebs, Brian Wilson gets out of the way. Don't go into the grass this time, Brian. I kind of don't want you to take out the leader. So, what can Malcolm do here? The gap between him and Sherlock, currently 0.8 of a second. Now 0.6. What is the difference in lap time between the two? 1:58.1. Ooh, Malcolm is definitely faster by 0.6 of a second. Slovik faster than Vic. And same with Dawn is faster than Slovik. Oh, Vinegar trying to go around the outside of the SPS Mercedes. And that is going to turn into the outside. Inside, rather. It didn't work out, though. Slovik closed the door. And Vic is going to have to wait a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Pookie got past Adrian Sandgreen. And now Sandgreen under threat from Jovanovski Angel. So this is where all the combat is, up in the higher echelons of the field. Khalid Malcolm still pressuring Sherlock. I think the Ferrari just a bit of a better car, though Malcolm definitely showing his mettle here. It's going to be rather tough to tell who's going to come out on top here, though you would assume that it would be Malcolm, given that he has closed the gap quite substantially, as we are about 10 minutes into the session now, which means half an hour to go. Sherlock going a little wide at the kink, turn 12. Into the chicane now. Oh, and Malcolm's got it all wrong. Able to keep it on track, but that's going to cause the gap to grow to 1.1 seconds. And that should have slowed him down a bit. What is the lap time difference? 157.545, 157.9. So Malcolm did lose 4 tenths. Ooh, look at that. Is that damage, or is that just the level, a huge level of detail? Because the bonnet, or hood if you're American, the bonnet on Alexei Shlovik's Mercedes here, it's moving up and down. I can't show you. Don't have a mouse. But just look at it. Look where the number is. It's moving up and down. It's incredible. I mean, this is a video game. If it was real life, I would expect it, but this is a video game. I think it is some kind of damage, because the exact same car behind, another Mercedes, the only things that are moving are the windscreen wipers. So Shlovik does appear to have some kind of damage, because his bonnet is vibrating, for lack of a better word. So yeah, pay attention, because you can see it's moving a lot. Whilst we look at the pink Mercedes, nothing. That bonnet is completely solid. I like these onboard noises, though. I like listening to the noises. The gaps have grown a little bit. No one's under any real threat, though Angel closing in C.dorn, so someone is under threat at least. And Sherlock still under threat from... That's the number 111. Yeah, that's Khalid Malcolm. You know, the two Porsches locked in a battle here. They're not able to make any real inroads on each other. So, I believe Malcolm had a better lap. 157.2 for Sherlock, previous lap. Khalid Malcolm 156.7. So, and that was actually his fastest lap of the race so far. So Khalid Malcolm definitely going pretty fast, and it's a pace that I don't think Sherlock can contend with. Meanwhile, fastest lap of the race overall belongs to F.krebs. No surprise there, as he is on his way to a second consecutive victory and to take outright lead in the GT3 Championship for Season 2. Meanwhile, no huge fights behind, though Pookie has moved up to P7 and is catching Vinegar at a rate of knots. That Huracan, after having a really poor start caused by Brian Wilson, is now potentially about to take P6. Shush, you stupid phone. Yes, I do know this Twitch chat, thank you. And I was looking at the bonnet because it was interesting.
as Pookie gets past Vic Vinegar for P7. Through the chicane, nicely done. And now he can chase down Alexei Shlovic for 5th.
Why are you complaining about that? I'm looking at a man's bonnet. I want to see the racing. Well, there's not much racing. There's only like 2 cars in any real contention of each other. Look, there's like 2 battles, and that's about it. Angel, the Pookie Vinegar battle is done, and then there's Sherlock and Malcolm.
That's it. 2 battles on track, so stop complaining.
Oh, Sherlock's got it all wrong! Through turn 5, I think that was. Yes, indeed, that was. Went onto the grass, but didn't open the door for Khalid Malcolm. The gap, though, 0.3 of a second. You could definitely feel the pressure that Sherlock is under. Although the gap has already grown to 0.6. So Sherlock, the pressure is getting to him, but he's using it reasonably effectively because he's growing the gap. Sherlock's a fast driver. He's not racing with a D-pad. Mistakes are just made, and you know, it happens. Oh, Sherlock drifting as I say that, but the gap 1.3 seconds. So he's drifting, but maybe it's just he's flexing. I can drift and still gain time on you. 157.6, Khalid Malcolm now 158.4, 0.8 of a second slower than Sherlock on that previous lap. Now Shlovic under threat from Pookie. Like I said, the Huracan closing rapidly on the Mercedes. Are we sure he's on controller? Now we can see that there's the damage from the turn 1 incident on lap 1 on the right hand side of Pookie's car here, but still, oh god, he thought he was about to go right into the back of Shlovic there, and he does, he picked, oh that was close. Shlovic manages to keep it on track, and Pookie doesn't want to take the position by punting him off the track. That's the word I was looking for, punting him. Pookie's too much of a sportsman for that. Doesn't want to punt you to put the position off. That's too much like banger racing. And banger racing, this is not. But that has enabled Vic Vinegar to catch up. That incident meant that both drivers they used their brakes, had to slow down, and now Vic, who has dropped Christian D.dorn somewhat, is on the tail end. He wants his positions back, and he wants them back any way he can. Meanwhile, Angel not able to make the moves on Christian D.dorn, able to keep in touch, but just not able to get past, whilst Laurel Fusion, who started last, P15, gradually catching the two battling Porsches. Currently P10, ahead of Adrian Sandgreen and Jesse Metternich. Metternich also flying at a rate of knots, 2 seconds a lap faster than Sandgreen, so he might take P11 any moment now. Oh, here goes Angel. Has caught rapidly through turns 1 and 2. Now around the outside of turn 3. This could turn into the inside of turn 4. Where is Christian D.dorn? Oh, that's getting really close. Fusion, oh, there's more contact! And Fusion has just punted Christian D.dorn off the racetrack, trying to make the move on the grass at turn 4. Oh, that's not on.
So it's been a pretty bad pair of
Races for C.dorn.
Pookie, meanwhile, has
Dropped Vic a little bit, and now he's
pulling away from the pink Mercedes and is catching the silver one in front.
He wants P5, just without forcing the other driver off. Vic making a big mistake, though he's not under any threat from behind, so he can afford to make small mistakes like that, though he's lost touch to the cars in front even more. Pookie might be about to make the move. Slovak closes the door. Nice defending from the Mercedes driver, the SPS. The silver SPS Mercedes, the black one driven by Jabber. Currently, the number 7 has stopped. Number 7, that's Angel. What happened to Angel? Something happened to Angel, and now he is in 11th. What happened? I am so confused. All of a sudden, Jesse Metternich is in P8. What?
I didn't catch that. Okay.
So Sherlock is on controller for Assetto Corsa. I thought he was on the wheel. Fusion might be about to be overtaken by Metternich here. Or has he just got past Metternich? I'm so confused. What just happened with Angel? Why did he spin on a straight line? Did he get punted off by someone? Ryan Wilson, meanwhile, exploring the track limits, the runoff area. As Alexei Slovak now under threat from Vic Vinegar. And of course he's gonna still have that broken bonnet.
That Crucifier, whatever his name is, has been complaining about.
I don't want to look at his bonnet. I want to see racing. When there is racing, I'll show it. This is the most racing we're getting at the moment, he said sarcastically. It's hard to tell which of these two drivers is faster. The gap currently 0.4 of a second. Pookie not pulling away as quickly as he probably would like. Fusion catching Adrian Sandgreen now. 8 or 9 of a second, though he's still under threat from Metternich. The Lambo Mazda keeping tabs on the pink Mercedes, though that lap was almost exactly a second slower than Fusion's. Sherlock, meanwhile, has not dropped Malcolm. I think the gap has stayed pretty consistent through these last few laps. Though I wonder if Malcolm's just left it off a little bit, backed off, and just allowed his car to cool down a bit, because the gap has closed up a little bit over these past couple of corners, and Sherlock going onto the runoff. Could his controller be on the blink, because Khalid Malcolm catching reasonably quickly. What? Oh, Fusion going slowly. What's happened here? He's pulling off. His engine is gone. Fusion, I think, is out of the race. So, Fusion... Oh dear, that is unfortunate. Really unfortunate. That's the wrong button. And meanwhile, Khalid Malcolm still going faster than Sherlock, I believe.
I saw that right.
And Pookie still not able to drop Slavik. So Pookie, who was flying, he got past all these drivers, now he's just not able to open the gap. It's just pressing all the wrong buttons today. So Pookie, when he has a goal, he grabs onto it and pulls himself toward it, but now he has that goal, he's not able to. He's just keeping it sort of at arm's reach, really. He's almost ready to hand it back. Yep, Krebs running away with it. He doesn't have any competition today. Isty's not here. Angel got passed by C.dorn? No, C.dorn way back, being passed by Jabber. So, Jabber exploring the in-off? It's not really the run-off, because it's the grass on the inside. Don't really want to be doing that. Yeah, Christian C.dorn, 2 seconds down on his best lap. As there are now less than 15 minutes of the session remaining. Fusion retired, which means that Krebs, the car in front of Krebs, is his teammate who is in last place. We've lost a couple of drivers, actually, I think. We had 15, we now only have 13. Oh, the 69! Krebs, not Christian C.dorn, off at turn 8. Very strange place to crash, I think. Well, not crash, spin. He must have clipped the inside apex of turn 8, the Schumacher S, a bit too much. And he's gone round. Aglamenta, meanwhile, also not under any real threat, though he's actually. The gap in front of him is larger than the gap behind by quite a bit. Has he been caught a little bit, I wonder? Meanwhile, Fusion hasn't retired. He's now back out, but he's lost a lot of time repairing whatever was wrong with his car. And now he is essentially last place. Pookie, meanwhile, has got a hang of his car whilst it's leading, being the air plow, the Ram Air scoop thingamajig. And he's dropped Slavik by 2.1 seconds. That gap not growing by a huge amount every lap, but still it's grown. So, looks like the Lamborghini a bit better through the straights than it is on through the corners, rather. So this is the fight for 8th now. Jesse Metternich on the tail end of the 296 GT3 of Adrian Sandgreen, the ARX Biscuit car. I thought Adrian was ARX Biscuit, apparently he isn't. Sandgreen touched the grass through on the straight line, but I think we've got a bit of latency going on because cars are moving backward and forward a bit. Oh, Pookie has to be really hard on the brakes there. Not Pookie, sorry, Metternich, Jesse Metternich. Thought we were with Pookie. Currently the closest battle, number 55. Renowned Mazda Lamborghini thing. Can he make the move stick at any point? Can he even make the move? Sandgreen all over the road. So it's just a question, which of these drivers is the better? Who's going to be able to make the move? We're about 11 minutes to go of this feature race. It's about time for the drivers to start really putting in the pace. There's contact! And almost a synchronized spin, and Metternich has just thrown his race away. Though he's got a fair amount of safety to Angel behind, but now he's going to have to settle for P9 as he sends a advertising board sky high, which then probably comes crashing back down. Now this is the closest battle on track. Vinegar gradually catching Slovak, especially if Slovak makes more mistakes like that, and the pink Mercedes now side by side with the silver Mercedes. Oh dear, Alexei, that's not what you want to be doing.
And you know, it's a good thing I don't have an Amazon Alexa here, because it probably would have gone off 500,000 times by now.
Although Slovak did seem to have he's got the straight line speed, perhaps. No, not able to make the move just yet. Not able to take back the move, but Vinegar up into P6 for now. Also something to keep an eye on, the gap between P2 and P3. No, sorry. I've been looking. I thought the gap was actually getting closer. It's not.
I saw fairly close. I saw a car on the minimap fairly close to Paglamenta here. Thought, oh wow, he's losing so much pace. No,
it's Lateral Fusion. He's a lap down or two. Sherlock is 7 seconds adrift of Paglamenta, but at least he's now 2.7 seconds ahead of Khalid Malcolm. He just needs to keep it on the track. Slovak is not taking the loss of P6 lying down. C.dorn still in the pits. He's basically out of the race. Okay, we did lose a driver, but we've still got 14 in the session. Where has 15 gone? I don't remember who 15 was. Yes, there is definitely damage on the silver Mercedes. That you can just about see some paint scratches, which would explain why his bonnet has been moving up and down a bit. So the gap between them, Slovak, about almost 2/10. No, almost 3/10 slower than Vinegar, though he's got the inside for turn 1. He's late on the brakes. Can he make the move? Oh, there's contact side by side, and Slovak is having to let Vinegar back past.
So his wounded Mercedes just not able to hold on, and he's cutting corners a little bit too, so that's not going to be super fantastic.
7.5 minutes remaining. It's starting to get a bit more. Yeah, it's going to be a bit more pressure on the drivers now to make passes,
which is why I guess Slovak made the move there,
but he just wasn't able to capitalize fully, not without making contact. Meanwhile, I think Khalid Malcolm has had a poor lap or poor corner somewhere, because Pookie is now right on the tail end of the Ferrari. This green Iron Lynx Lamborghini Huracan closing rapidly. 4/10 of a second now separate positions 4 and 5, but there are less than 7 minutes remaining. Who is going to take which position? Pookie getting a bit too adventurous with the corner. And these two Mercedes still fighting tooth and nail. Pookie might be able to make the move into turn 1 here. He's got the run on Khalid Malcolm. He has the inside. He has the position before the turn. Can Malcolm get the switch back? No. Pookie into P4 for now, but don't count the Ferrari out just yet. No, I don't think he made contact, but he was getting way... He was just had... ambition outstripped his grip. Wait, no. He had more ambition than grip. What is it that Martin Brundle says? I don't remember. He had the ambition, just didn't have the grip. It's something along those lines. Still, on the tail end of Pookie, he might still be able to get that position back. Vic Vinegar still defending from Alexei Shlovic. And C.dorn still in the pits. I think he's basically out. His race is over. Level Fusion started last, is last on track now. Actually, no. Brian Wilson is last. He's about to be overtaken by Angel. Well, might be in the next few minutes, but there's only 5 minutes remaining, and Shlovic getting really close to Vinegar here. Pookie has opened the gap between him and Malcolm, so he is rather comfortably into P4 now, but it's still all to play for P6. There may be damage on the SPS Mercedes here, but it doesn't seem to be enough to really harm the pace of the silver Mercedes. And Vic not able to open the gap. What's the difference in lap time? 2 minutes 5, 2 minutes 7. Very close between these two. Four minutes remain.
That's 2 full laps.
Where is the number 27? Going through the Schumacher S right now. That's turns 8 and 9, heading towards turn 10. He is safely in P1. Meanwhile, I think the number 998 is actually behind the number 2 again. Pagnamenta, 3.2 seconds to Sherlock. I think Pagnamenta has lost out at some point here, but that gap, well, he's lost 4 seconds, but he's not losing a huge amount of pace, so I don't think he's under any real threat from being overtaken by Sherlock. This is going to go down to the wire for P6 here. These two Mercedes absolutely inseparable at the minute. Can Sherlock take the inside for turn 10? Not quite. He's going to be feeling the pressure, especially you can see he's got the pressure drifting slightly through the exit of turn 10. And he's lost a bit of time. Not a huge amount, maybe a tenth or two, but he's gaining that back on the straight. Can he gain any more through the chicane? Ah, no, he's going over the chicane, not through it. So that's hurt him even more, and I think that has more or less solidified the position for Vic. So there are still 2 minutes of the session remaining. And I reckon that, Krebs is at the hairpin, turn 7. So this is almost certainly the penultimate lap that everyone is on. And Shlovic, I think, has resigned himself here. He is losing more pace through this opening sector. I think that's it. It's all over for Shlovic there. He's going to have to settle for P7. It's been a pretty good race from some of these guys. Sherlock, though, smelling some blood in the water. Pagnamenta now only 2.5 seconds ahead. So Niccolo Pagnamenta, I don't know what happened to him, but he he's not under immediate threat, but he could potentially get past by Sherlock. I thought that was Sherlock going straight on at turn 10 there. It wasn't. But
Alright, man. The leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
yep, final lap. 1 minute of the session to go. Krebs, we've not been focusing on him much because there's been no real point. He's been in a complete class of his own. 2 seconds between Pagnamenta and Sherlock. What is Pagnamenta's lap time going to be like? 158.4. 157.4. Sherlock is closing by a second a lap, but it's not going to be enough. He with this pace that he has at the minute, he could overtake him in 2 laps' time, but he's only got 1 lap. So he has to get 2 seconds a lap, at least. But he's not going to be able to do that. He's closing. He is definitely closing, but not by enough. We've not been focusing a huge amount on Pagnamenta either, because he's been pretty alone. But now, he just has to have a solid lap here. And in fact, he has opened the gap a little bit. Sherlock has the pace, but he just doesn't have the time. Someone who also doesn't have the time, Pookie, seems to be closing a bit on Sherlock, but he's going to have to settle for P4. Meanwhile, it has been, as mentioned many times already, a completely untouchable race for Krebs. We might as well put him in a GT4 car because he would probably still dominate even there. Comes around the final corner to take a clean sweep weekend. I don't think he's taken the fastest lap in both of the races, but still.
The leader has finished the race.
Yeah, he's taken a complete sweep of the weekend. Takes the race when Pagnamenta is going to be safe. He kept the gap at about 2 seconds. Sherlock didn't have the 1 second advantage pace, and he pushes through the chicane, but it's not going to be enough. He caught up by about 3-4 tenths in the final sector, but it wasn't enough. And yeah, Pagnamenta opened the beans. Was able to keep Sherlock behind with a much better lap. Pookie took P4. Khalid Malcolm takes an impressive P5. Vic Vinegar will take P6. Shlovic has to settle for P7. Adrian Sandgreen had a pretty poor qualifying, is going to take P8. Jesse Metternich, P9 is what he's going to have to settle for. And in P10, sandwiched between back markers and under threat from Angel, Jabber right now. I think Angel had a spin potentially. Not sure what happened because Angel, you can see there's actually a fair amount of damage on his car. So maybe Jabber just passed him naturally because he's losing so much time down the straight. Jabber in P10, which if this was F1 he would get a point. But this isn't F1, it's GT3, so I don't know what the points are going to be like. Oh! He's almost opened the door for Angel there. He had the very poor exit. In the end, the gap is 3 tenths. Oh, and Metternich had way too much race fuel on. Fusion's engine did just break. And we've got Khalid Malcolm, who was celebrating. Is still celebrating. He's so happy with P5. And Pagnamenta lost so much pace through fatigue. Yes, Malcolm, we get the point. You're happy. Oh, and there we go. I've been kicked. So, let's see. I don't know what the points are like for GT3. So you're gonna have to bear with me. But definitely, Fabian Krebs is leading the championship at this moment. He's had the perfect weekend, so he's going to go into round 2 with quite the advantage. So tune in next week for Circuit Misano. If you are interested, if you want to take part in the season, then our socials should be in the About page below. If not, they will be on the ending screen in just a few moments' time. But yes, tune in next week for Misano, and also, hopefully, in maybe a couple of months, we'll have the F.123 League as well. So if you want to take part in those, socials in the description and the ending screen. Until next time, though, have a good night. Hope you have a good night at least. Try not to drink too much. And, yeah, good night.
We'll be right back.